preliminary dungeon. As you know, I'm Weibo. I am playing every dungeon on the Steam Workshop. Now, as to what exactly that means, we had initially set the target of just at the start of my first stream, which was a week ago today, down to like the minute. That I would play everything that was on the workshop at that time. What I did not anticipate is that people might take things off the workshop. That, of course, makes sense, but now the specific dungeon that I was using as my benchmark for when I was done this project is no longer there, and I don't know what exactly was on there and what wasn't when I started. Because there's also people update their dungeons and stuff like that. So I'm not going to be able to do exactly what I said I was going to do, because some of those dungeons no longer exist. In particular, Action Must Die 4, the one that was going to be the last one. So what I'm going to do is I have put I created a dungeon, so to speak. It's like a utility workshop item. It's not like an adventure module. I'm turning my microphone down just a little bit. It looks like my levels are a bit too high. Yeah, so I didn't make an adventure module or anything like that. I'm planning to maybe do something like that in the middle to distant future. But for now, I'm focused on playing and doing my like own paper D&D campaign and stuff like that, which I'm not streaming at all. Sorry. I have ADHD, and that's why we're 3 minutes late. I lost my phone, but I found it. It also means that when I have multiple things to address at the start, this happens. Okay. What I meant to... Okay. I made a dungeon that is more of a utility than an adventure. It is called Gear Up Before Adventuring. It's just there to, like, put gear on your characters. If you feel like your characters need gear they don't currently have. It's a utility that I felt I needed. I'm going to be, every time I make a character for a group that doesn't include a rogue, I'm probably going to go in there and grab these tools, just in case the same thing happens as before. If I make, like, level 4, say, characters, just, like, from scratch, I'm probably going to go in there, grab a couple +1 weapons and stuff like that, etc. Or, like, gearing completely up if I'm playing level 10 characters from scratch. It's etc. That was the idea. I needed something like that, so I made it and published it. Now a bunch of people are using it, which is great. I think it's on my document somewhere. I'll put it there, and not rate it, because I think that that's unfair. But it'll be on there. What I want to do, therefore, is to go through every single dungeon up to that one. That will be my cutoff for where I, like, am no longer obligated to keep going. Because I know that I posted that, like, several days after I started this project, so we're going to get some dungeons in there, and I counted. We're going to get some dungeons in there that weren't there when I made the promise. Numerically, it balances out to 2 fewer dungeons total than I expected to be doing, because enough people deleted to somehow overcome the number of people who made dungeons up to that point. That at the moment there are more dungeons than when I started, but when I published my own, there were not, which is very interesting. So at any rate, that's what our goal is going to be. That means that our next step is to play Green Rock Cave Foyer, which, as you can tell from my title here, is part of a series called Starvation and Shadows, I believe. And why did I get a notification there? And as we can see, it's for level 1 to 2 characters, so I'm going to be creating new characters for this, I think. Before I get started, I'm going to take a quick look at my my personal characters. I've got a bunch of level 2 characters here, but I think all of them need to level up, so I'm going to take a dip into Bodiless Bill's Bazaar, which I think is going to be my favorite place to do level ups. Just so that all my characters are showing the level they actually are. I think I'm also going to delete the characters I ran through the original campaign with, just so that this page doesn't get cluttered. Because, you know, I want to be able to sort it by level and know what level I have characters for. I think my methodology generally in this project is going to be that when I get to a dungeon, I'm going to look at the levels the dungeon is for. I'm going to check to see if I already have characters of those levels. If so, great, I'm going to play them. And if not, then I will make new characters at that, whatever the lowest appropriate level is. Or if there are any requests from people whose dungeons I'm playing, then I'll follow those requests. So let's quickly do what I said. I can remake these characters in no time. They're not the ones I want to play for this one. I'm excited that I get to make new characters, actually. I thought that it might be a level 2 or 3 dungeon, in which case I would be playing these ones, but as we're about to see, and I don't have any viewers right now, so I don't mind wasting a little bit of time doing this on screen, but I'm going to level these guys up. We've got Brigitte, Chelsea, Drider, and Friar, which I actually kind of like these characters. I hope that I get a chance to use them. It's a cleric, ranger, fighter, paladin party, which is tailored to fighting undead. I will admit, I had trouble on Tomb of Heroes, so I made a few different characters to run it, and this party is the party that was able to beat it. So they're somewhat close to me. I also saw that Bodiless Bill's Bazaar, why is that so big, was updated, and I'm curious to see what that looks like. So as you can see, here's Bill. It's probably gold. Yeah. So that's kind of how it looks before. We're going to let me check something. No. Okay. Someone said holding control while clicking or right clicking dropped stuff, but doesn't seem to be the case. Okay, so we have given up 106, 109 gold of stuff, Scroll of Bane. I'll hold on to it in case, oh dang. I'll hold on to Scroll of Bane in case they fix the bug with it. But I wouldn't hold out on that being anytime soon. Calendars are kind of just a waste of space. Torches are better. Like, one bright. It's, whatever. I don't have other light sources, so I guess we'll keep it. So we're at, let's say, 20% gold. We'll say that that's how generous Bill is. And then, so... I don't know why I have this spell book. Who's my strongest character is going to be Friar, so we'll give... I like to have the strongest character have the haversack because they make the most use of it, like, numerically. That puts us at 111 if I'm counting correctly. And then, that's not what I meant to drop. So 142 plus 111 is 253. Doesn't matter. 324. 325. 360. 70. Well, I guess we don't need this. 385. I think I skipped this one, but we're just going to move past that. Just in case I didn't. 400 something. 440-ish. I think this is magical, but I don't have a way to check that. And this is obviously magical. And should probably go to... I'm surprised that Friar's not using that already. Okay, well I guess that is everyone. So I'm just gonna grab 100 gold, round up to 100. And there's our party wealth. And one of these has food in it, I think. Let's check what's in here. Yeah, a bunch of ammunition, which I don't think we need to stock up on with this party. And yeah, I don't think there's any tools we need or anything like that. I might grab... Holy Symbol Crown, just in case. And who else uses a Holy Symbol? Paladin, so we'll grab the cape for the Paladin, just in case I, like, find something down the line, you know? Oh, and we'll get rid of the gold bracelet, too. Okay, looks fine. And then, like I mentioned, the main reason we're here is for the rest. I think there's food in... If we go in here, we've got, like, like, even more special resting place where, yeah, food, and then... This is more of, like, a decorative fire, and then this one's where you're supposed to rest. Because there's currently no rations in the party because of the way that first dungeon I ran is set up. Okay, and we're going to... I don't think the order is going to matter here too much. Okay, so I got to choose a ranger archetype for Chelsea now. So the idea with Chelsea was to be like an undead hunting ranger. Better dex saves in darkness. Okay, that seems nice. So the superior dark vision thing is supposed to be these are good against Sorax, which I don't think we're gonna see a whole lot. Oh, rope grapple. That's what Arwen Martin does. That's kind of cool. Damn, we're no light advantage on stealth. Okay, so we're not a strength character, so I don't think that this is weaker than it could be, but it still looks really good. When a visible opponent 2 cells or more from you attacks you with a ranged weapon or spell, you can use your reaction to take a shot after the triggering attack. That's cool. So that's like a lot of extra attacks. Okay, this is cool. So this is like kind of like a rogue-like ranger. I think I might play this one on the ranger I'm about to roll up. And then there's just the standard ranger, where, like, yeah, these are some cool abilities. Like, Hordebreaker's really good, though, guys. Hordebreaker is really good. Especially the way it's implemented in Solasta, I assume, where the attack doesn't have to be part of the same action. Action economy is weird in 5th Ed, and Hordebreaker is one of the biggest reasons, because it doesn't say that it's part of the same action. It doesn't say it's a bonus action. So when do you do this? It's not part of any action. It's just something you can do on your turn. It's not even a free action. It's like its own kind of thing. And I don't think anything else exists that's like this. This isn't a transcription error. Hordebreaker's like this in Pen and Paper 5th Ed. So I think that Solasta treats that probably the best way. Is it just when you take this attack, it doesn't cost you an action or anything? At any rate, I think that we're going to go ahead and be a Shadow Tamer on this one, because I think it fits the flavor of what Chelsea's supposed to be about. And spells. We get 1 spell. Hooray. Playing a ranger hurts sometimes. We've got enough healing in this group. I think Fog Cloud is going to be the most useful spell. Okay, Drider, my halfling, Dex fighter. Cool, we get to select a martial archetype. I hadn't thought about what I want this guy to be. This is interesting. We're gonna cancel this real quick and take a closer look. I can do that, right? I can't. So, okay. Let's do Friar first, because that's a tough decision. Oh, wow. You guys have to watch me make all these decisions that don't matter to what I'm about to do. I think in line with what Chelsea's doing, this should probably be a Tyrmar Paladin. Just have this team be kind of specialized against both Undead and Sorax. Or is Devotion, like, specifically have anything... No, I guess we're Devotion, then. Got a good charisma on this character, too. This makes sense. Okay, we'll be Devotion on this one. Drider, this is a harder choice. Drider's definitely not a Spellblade, so the question is, does a Dexterity fighter who does a mix of ranged and upfront... Well, the thing is that Shove... As a Mountaineer, you want to be Strength, so I guess Champion's the only real choice for a Dexterity fighter, hey? Improved Critical's pretty good, though. You know what? 2 fighting styles is also pretty nice. Yeah, okay, yeah, let's be a champion. Let's definitely be a champion. Mountaineer looks so good. I'm about to build a Mountaineer, I think, or a character who's, like, planning to be a Mountaineer. And I might as well just take a quick check that, like, nothing silly is happening here. This looks perfectly good to me. As does... Heroism's broken. This. Yes. Kind of wish Paladins had more spells. It feels a bit too much like there's a right answer. Okay, and we'll just get out of here. Thanks, Bill. Always a pleasure. Okay. I am... Gosh. I might take a break right away. I'm sorry. I'm having one of those situations where it's like... You know, I'm at once the mom being like... I'm at once the kid like, Mom, we gotta stop and find a bathroom. And I'm also the mom being like, why didn't you go before we left? I told you we were leaving. You knew at 3 o'clock that you had to be ready. And I'm also the child responding, I didn't have to go before. So anyways, that's my life right now. It's a lot more information than you need. I'll be back in however long that takes to deal with. Okay, apologies for keeping all 0 of you waiting. Let's get started with building some characters. You are going to... I'm not going to cancel. It's about it. Never mind. So you're going to notice right away that there is... I'm doing something a little bit different with the way I'm making these characters. In the form of, I've got a mod that, or a couple of mods that you might have seen at the start, where you can both where you place the skills you get from your backgrounds and where you place the ability score increases you get from your ancestry are made flexible. You have complete choice about that. So we don't need to think too hard about, like, which one of these we're going to play. We can just play based on, like, the bonuses you get. And you can see that, like, they've updated the text here. So there's 4 boosts of ability scores in any combination you're choosing. I think the current implementation lets you put, like, +4 to 1 stat if you want, which is a little too much to me. But I also agree with the philosophy of making it that way and just kind of giving complete freedom to the players who use your mod. I'm going to do +2, +1, +1 still. And luckily human isn't +6, it's +1 to all. And also it's probably harder to make it that way, so, like, why put more work to, like, put restrictions on the player that they can just do themselves if they want to police themselves, right? So, you know, I think it's perfectly well implemented. Now, my Mountaineer Fighter is the first character I'm going to make here. And we're going to do the same thing we did before. I'm just going to keep whatever my first roll is, except I'm not going to be, like, fishing around and choosing which rolls go to which builds. That took way too long. We're just going to go with whatever score that character gets. And if the character fails a run, then I just retire any number of characters that failed that run. So what we can get for here is basically dark vision and extra hit points. What we can get for a snow dwarf is dark vision, bonus to constitution saves. So for a tanky, high AC fighter, a hill dwarf certainly looks like an option. Half elves are definitely going to be an option because of the ability to spread ability scores. No, not so much, because we really just need constitution and strength. So high elves can give us a cantrip, which I don't think is going to be super useful. Like, we could get light, but that's about it. We would get dark vision anyways from this race. 1 fewer skills than the half elf. This doesn't look very good. 2 skills. And an increased move speed. I might like the increased move speed for this Mountaineer. So we'll take a look at that. And then there's lucky, which means our attack rolls are gonna be better. We can't be frightened. The nimbleness might also be good for a Mountaineer. Mountaineers, like, my understanding is they very much hunker down in one spot, but it's also important to be able to get to that spot well. Kind of like the idea of a Sylvan Mountaineer who, like, even though it's going to be a strength build, is kind of like using her. It's a female. I'm not going to change that. Her. I remember suddenly that I'm going to roll dice for the pronouns of my characters. And we'll see if I forget and misgender my characters. I do that all the time on tabletop, as I introduce non-binary characters and then keep misgendering them in front of my players, confusing them to no end. We'll try not to do that. But we'll quickly look at what these ones have to offer. So the Marsh Halfling, you get Swamp and Halfling Nimbleness. This one gives you Rope Dancing, but no Dark Vision. I'm liking the idea of the Sylvan. We're essentially trading, like, the big thing we're trading is a 5 move speed and +1 hit points per level, or 7 move speed. And, which is all, like, the point of these mods is to be more flexible with what you're allowed to grab, but the end result is that Sylvans are just really good. So, you know. Same with Tasha's. Tasha's makes it so that, like, now every race can play every class, which is awesome, but also it made it so that a small number of races are optimal for every class, right? So we're gonna take a look at this. We're gonna want to start with chainmail. Okay, we're gonna... Longsword or shield looks right. We might want to consider starting with Warhammer and shield, because if we come up against Skellies, that's just a little bit better to have. But it doesn't matter a whole lot. Skeletons are a common early thing. We're gonna grab 2 hand axes, because that's just, as a strength option, better than the light crossbow thing. And the Dungeoneers pack is better than the Explorers pack. And that looks good to me. Background. So we've got a lot of freedom for this. We're gonna have a wizard in this party, so I don't think academic is too strong a consideration. Similar reasoning with acolyte. I think I'm gonna just aim for the backgrounds that I didn't play in my original run through the game. So let's look at what these give us. One character is gonna get 2 additional languages. One character is going to get proficiency in martial weapons. I think the Lawkeeper might end up being our cleric. One character gets a lot of gold and an extra skill. So I don't mind giving that to my fighter. I kind of like having fighters have extra skills. But that Aristocrat might make a bit more sense on our ranger, though, who's going to end up having a decent wisdom. And then also 3 skills on our lowlife. Right, so we're going to want our lowlife to be the ranger, actually. So then it's a question of, do I give philosopher or aristocrat? Our wizard and fighter are going to be arguing between these. I just like the idea of a philosopher fighter. So we're going to do this. Actually, let's do aristocrat, because this guy's going to be our, like, closest thing we have to a face, which doesn't actually matter for dungeoneering, but I'm going to do it anyways. Because you never know, maybe these, like, characters end up getting to level, like, 7 really slowly or something. And then time comes that you can start putting social in the game and they're still at that level, and then I can use them still. That'd be pretty cool. Or maybe they'll be my favorite level 10 characters, who knows. So we're going to think ahead. So the philosopher warrior, who oddly is holding the hand axe, I think that a philosophy warrior is going to be altruistic but authoritative, right? Like, you don't become a fighter as a sorry, this is an aristocrat, not a philosopher. So yeah, I think. Man, what aristocrat is altruistic? That's whatever. So we're gonna go for, like, a lawful neutral kind of character, I think. Maybe... Like, replace altruism with greed, to be completely honest. Right? I don't know. Highly formal... authoritative, lawful, and I don't know, probably like pragmatic, and then we'll just like add to the lawfulness a bit. No, let's add to the authoritative, and then that balances out to like a good lawful neutral. Lawful neutral is one of my favorite. Let's do this. I'm tempted to keep this, but wisdom's usually a little bit better on fighters. This is a great stat array. Yeah, it should probably be... This is probably right, right? Is there a good feat that's going to be +1 strength? Not for a fighter, right? Yeah, I think starting 16 versus starting 17. Because, like, what I'm gonna do is if I do 17 and 15 is my first ASI is going to be to bring up both strength and constitution. So, yeah, of course, this is the right way to do it. This is a really good starting array. I'm tempted to do the 13 int. Like, I just like it for the character a bit more. No, having a little bit of dexterity is like, we're still a Sylvan, right? Okay, I like this character. Fighting style is going to be dueling on a Mountaineer. I think that the Mountaineer is defensible enough that grabbing defense is probably overkill. Protection's kind of fun, but we're only... The Cleric's going to be the only other one in melee. Which maybe is the role of the Mountaineer, is to, like, form an impenetrable barrier with your Cleric and just stick to the Cleric. But ultimately, like, damage is king in 5th ed, right? And dueling is so good. It brings you up to, like, great weapon level of damage. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's gotta be dueling. It's just so good. It's such a good fighting style. This is gonna be a pretty high damage party, and that's pretty okay. I think going for tanky options is a little bit of a trap. Protection's better than, like, defense in most cases. The reason defense exists is that great weapon fighting is really bad. Right? Like, it's not the actual reason they made it, but it's the reason that it gets taken. And then protection is the, like, I want to be a defender, and I'm doing sword and board. Dueling is the, I want to be a striker, and I'm doing sword and board, or I want to be versatile. And I think I want all these characters to be versatile. Yeah, I like the idea of dueling. Although I do kind of want to playtest what the Mountaineer with protection plays like. Like, all the considerate... Yeah, you know what? Yeah, let's do protection, just because I know for myself that I really like the minigame of paying a lot of attention to positioning, and I'm going to have more fun having to think about protection all the time, and, like, where the best place to put our Mountaineer is going to be. Even though we're missing out on a ton of damage, and that's probably not correct... Especially with how good our stat array is. Our stat array is actually not that good qua fighter. This would be a lot better on a different kind of character. It'd be really dope if we find the Warden Blade on this character. Yeah. Yeah, just playing positioning games and, like, trying to finagle my Cleric into a position where they can be protected from a wall and do a lot of cool Cleric stuff. I don't know what kind of Cleric I'm going to play yet. I don't think Battle... I think that I want to do a party based around a Battle Cleric for later on, because Battle Cleric's aura is amazing. So we're going to grab, for class skills, Intimidation right away. And out of these, Insight is probably going to be best. And then for background skills, I think we want to just, like, go all of the charisma ones. Like I said, we're kind of future-proofing, and I'm going to take some that are not... argument for medicine, but I don't think I like the idea. So we're gonna take some stuff that's not currently useful, just in case it becomes useful later. Because most of the stuff's not useful in dungeons anyways, so that would get boring if we min-max that. And their question is just like, our aristocratic Sylvan Mountaineer, what languages do they know? I like the idea of grabbing Giant and Goblin, because those are kind of mountainy, right? What's Terran again? Yeah, maybe Terran even, right? Like, nah, Goblin. Okay, and then I also don't want to spend a bunch of time editing the faces. I think for the most part, the randomized things are perfectly fine, so we're just gonna, like, leave this. And time to roll for pronoun. I think we'll be doing, like, trans characters going, like, he when the game tells us initially she, on, like, a 1 when I roll a 6, and, like, the they, them on a 6, completely arbitrarily, just so that that's not, like, the norm, but more often than not, we're going to have, like, a gender diverse character in a given party. And our mountain fighter is she, her. So her name is going to be, I'm looking at her right now, I'm seeing Amelie of House, I don't know why Earthwind, but Amelie Earthwind is what's coming to me right now. Amelie Earthwind is a Sylvan mountaineer who grew up rich, and she liked to spend her time outdoors, and eventually became way stronger than the other Sylvan kids, and left the comforts of her home, always preferring to be playing in the dirt. But you can take the aristocrat out of her upbringing. You can't bring the upbringing out of her. She's still quite proper in her verbiage and believes in the power of the law and upholding it. So I'm excited about that character. The next one, let's roll the Shock Arcanist up next. And I think for a Shock Arcanist, a Hill Dwarf is probably going to be our best option out of all of these. They do roll... I don't know, Lucky's kind of nice for, like, having good saves. And, like, being able to move through our allies, or being able to move through creatures when we need to might be a little bit useful. I don't know, the con saves that Hill Dwarfs give. That's the other thing, is, like, Hill Dwarf is also going to be, like, really good for any spellcaster, right? Because of... Sorry. Snow Dwarf is actually what I mean. Because the +2 to con saves, that's big. This is +2 from the start of the game on every single concentration roll. Which is that right? Are cons saving throws? No, it isn't, is it? I think it's a check, not a saving throw. So I misremembered what that was. Okay. So I think, yeah, Hill Dwarf is going to be a bit better. The +1 HP per level is good on a wizard, which we saw earlier. But I kind of like the idea of playing the Marsh Halfling. Get lucky on a character. We've already got a Halfling Ranger, so I'm going to try to roll up something other than a Halfling for my Ranger. I might even do Half-Elf, because they're kind of multi-attribute dependent. Yeah, okay, let's do this. And then we're going to end up with, like, a Dwarven Cleric, probably. Yeah. This looks good. Okay. My Halfling Shock Arcanist. I don't think there's ever really a reason to change up the wizard's, Maybe I should have mixed these two up. Nah, whatever. Roleplay-wise, it makes perfect sense. I do actually kind of wish that I had switched them up between the fighter and the wizard, but oh well. So our wizard, I think, is going to be... So our options are altruism, kindness, pragmatism, and cynicism. So it looks like philosophers are supposed to be chaotic good-leaning, which in my experience in grad school in philosophy was an interesting choice. But I think that our Shock Arcanist is going to have to be somewhat pragmatic and cynical. But I think we'll throw in... kindness and egoism. Are those contradictory? Putting oneself, friends, and family first at the expense of others. Does it care about others, preferring to make enemies rather than friends? I don't. Yeah, those aren't contradictory at all. That just like I want to have friends, but if you're not my friend, then I care about my friends a lot more than I care about you. I like the way they worded those. So these are such great rolls. 17 and int makes perfect sense. These look... Yeah, this is exactly how you want to do it. I'm going to end up clicking optimize out of laziness just because there is usually a right answer. And I've noticed the game is pretty good at finding that right answer. So we're going to get a +1 to int and a +2 to constitution. Because, yeah, those concentration rolls are important. Less so on a Shock Arcanist, but still very much so. We're going to grab History and Arcana for sure. My background skills, we probably want to do Nature and Investigation. We get a free tool. Herbalism kit is covered under Nature. Our dex is not the worst. The Thieves' Tool proficiency is probably actually going to be ideal here. Yeah. I don't know. Character-wise, it doesn't make a lot of sense, though, does it? Grabbing the dice set. We're gonna get 2 languages here. We've got Halfling and Common, so I think Elvish, if we're a philosopher, makes a lot of sense. And maybe Old Temerian. What if... Yeah, no. Let's do Terran and Old Temerian. That seems fun to me. Okay, so our spells. As a Shock Arcanist, we're mainly just trying to do as much damage as possible, so I'm gonna grab Firebolt and Shadow Dagger right off the bat. I could optimistically grab Shadow Armor, but I think we saw in the previous playthrough that I am just... It's hopeless. I never remember. I never remember. I absolutely never remember. So having light for creatures who have a sensitivity to light is just really valuable. I think we're going to do that. 6 class spells. Always grab Detect Magic and Identify on a character who is our only wizard in the party. I like Magic Missile. I don't recall if Burning Hands is on the Shock Arcanist list. Let me look that up really quick. Because it's not evocation spells, it's like a specific list of spells. I think that, yeah, we're on the F Extra Life Wiki, which I think... Yeah, here we go. Burning Hands, Magic Missile, Thunder Wave for level 1, Acid Arrow, Scorching Ray, Flaming Sphere for level 2, Fireball, Lightning Bolt for level 3. Is that it? There's no level 4 or higher ones? That probably makes sense. So... Okay, Burning Hands and Thunder Wave are ones that we should probably consider then. Thunder Wave... So we're looking at 3d8 versus 4d6. So that's 14 versus 13.5. So because they're being upcast, Thunder Wave's a little bit better than Burning Hands. Because it's a larger area, and like the push away is nice. You can debate Dex versus Con. Dex is a little bit better, I think, most of the time. And sometimes removing On Fire kind of sucks, but... It's a weird icon for 3 cell cube originating from you. So let's do Thunder Wave. I like the idea of Mage Armor. And... Maybe not Thunder Wave, maybe Magic Missile's enough for like a just like straight damage option. Because I want shield. And then I find that early on, when you need utility options, Fog Cloud's kind of the best one. So this is, you know, absolute standard wizard spell choices. We're gonna have a +4 int, so we're gonna actually be able to prepare all of our choices here, which is nice. This character's gonna be nuts. Gosh, I'm tempted to take Thunderwave over Fog Cloud, but I think it's a trap. And identity. Roll for queer, not queer. I like Mervyn. Mervyn Fionis. Halfling Wizard Extraordinaire. No, Mervyn's too boring. This is a Shock Arcanist. This is like... This, like, little pal... This little chaotic good to chaotic neutral leaning Blast Wizard needs a cool name. Oops. Kieran Firebush. There we go. Okay, now let's build the cleric. I want to see what the con saves actually ends up doing. I'll ask on Discord, it's whatever. The Hill Dwarf kind of... Like, the extra hit points on a cleric is going to go fairly far if it's going to be like a melee one, right? So let's grab a cleric. Check on our equipment. I think we're going to be wanting to swing things. We'll grab Warhammer because we're a dwarf. I think that Warhammer should be allowed to be chosen by non-dwarves because you can get that proficiency other ways, but I digress. Like, there's a good chance this character ends up doing, like, a two-hander kind of thing. Okay, looks good. So I've played an elemental one before. Sun is worth considering. The light cantrip is nice. Sacred Flame is nice. Fairy Fire is also nice. This is tempting. Is this another Channel Divinity option? When do you... Okay, I don't know. I'm unclear on what this does. Ah, and we get to be justified in using weapon attacks a little bit. This doesn't look that good, though. Okay, so... Sun is a consideration. What's her name? Lawlessness is already a law cleric. There's life. The heavy armor's a bit unnecessary with our protection style character. And that's the only real reason to be in life. Not the only, but it's the main reason to be in life. Oblivion. So access to sleep is really good. Like, this has a lot of really nice control options, which will help shore up the lack of those that our Shock Arcanist is going to want to be doing. Chill Touch means that we're not really going to be doing a lot of melee. It's tempting, but I don't think it's what we're trying to do with the character. And then there's Insight. Slow is really good. This isn't that helpful. This isn't that helpful. I want to play... I think I want to play a Sun Cleric. The Sun Cleric looks really fun. The Sacred Flame looks really good, and honestly, it works just fine in melee. Like, we don't need to be hitting things too hard to justify being in melee as a cleric, right? So let's play a Sun Cleric. Sun looks like it does a good job of... It's like a unique playstyle of melee character, right? It gives you reasons to be in melee. So as a Lawkeeper, we're going to favor lawfulness and pragmatism, but in our character's heart, we're altruistic and kind because we follow a sun deity, right? Yeah, so, you know, Lawful Good Cleric, the classic. Classic Dwarven Lawful Good Cleric. And... stats are not ideal, but good. I think I want to do this. We're gonna get a +1 to Wisdom to get us up to 16. There are no Wisdom half feats. So then if I'm doing, like... $14 dex is the number of decks you want. Because that shores up all of our... Yeah. Gosh, I'm really tempted to go, like, +1 Constitution, +1 Strength, but I said I wasn't going to do that. Do we have proficiency as a cleric in Constitution saves? I don't think so. So there's an argument to do the 17 Constitution over 17 Wisdom. Let's do 17 Wisdom. So then if I want, I can do like the +1 to Wisdom, +1 to Strength, which is always fun. I like this. Yeah, I like this. This looks good to me. Okay, proficiencies. Let's do... Insight. Medicine gives us the proficiency we need to make potions and poisons. So it's a useful skill even though we're a cleric. Perception is a no-brainer on our high wisdom character. I won't take survival because we're probably going to take that on our ranger. Same with animal handling. So then let's grab religion just to have a proficiency in it in case there's something that I might want to... Nah, no. Charisma is good to have on a few different characters. So yeah, this looks good to me. And now just the background languages. As a sun cleric, I think I want to take Terran on this character. Spells, we already have light, which is nice. Guidance, Sacred Flame are no-brainers. Resistance is pretty terrible, right? Like, you spend an action on it, and then you get something that's reactive with it. It doesn't make any sense at all. I don't know why you would want to make an enemy luminous. Honestly, I think Sparkle's probably our best option. Spare the Dying... Like, I have Healing Word. Love a good, sturdy dwarven woman, don't you? Or, my apologies. That's canted. Love a good, strong dwarven woman, don't you? It's weird that dwarves don't get, like, a body slider, you know? That's weird to me. I think that her name will be... don't know why Barrel Beard pops into my head, but... Gildan Barrelbeard. Nah. Oriel Barrelbeard. Because we've got like ore, like gold, and it's like kind of an aerial kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know. Oriel Barrelbeard. I like the irony of like a dwarven woman adventurer with beard in her name. Birchbeard occurs to me. Oriel Birchbeard. Okay. And at last... we are going to do our... Ranger. Like I said, they're pretty multi-attribute dependent, so I like the idea of a half-elf on this one. And also, like, skill dependent. This one... Favorite enemy... So... Elemental tends to be a pretty good choice here. Undead tends to be a pretty good choice here. Monstrosity tends to be a pretty good choice. Just don't really know what we're going up against. I kind of wish that we had humanoid as an option, as we do in the actual... I think humanoid is an SRD option. But at any rate, I haven't thought a whole lot about what this ranger is like. I think we said we were doing... Here, what are the archetypes again? This was going to be a marksman, right? So they're going to get herbalism kit proficiency. Let's keep that in mind. So, like, I don't know. Like, a really nature-y themed one seems like a lot of fun. And... Beast is always really tempting because it's so thematic, but, like, it's such a bad choice. You never see beasts. Like, elementals are, like, on the stronger end of characters that you see a reasonable amount of the time, right? I don't know, it's hard to know what you're gonna find in dungeons, right? I kind of would lean towards undead, because at the moment no one in the party is specialized against undead. We're not bringing... Well, I mean, we have a cleric. But... No, I already have an undead-focused ranger. Let's take elemental. People say elemental's a good choice. And then... we've already got the swamp character. So... I don't know. Is forest one of our... terrains? I don't think this does literally anything. We're going to be ranged focused, so I think that leather's going to end up being our best choice. I might backtrack and change this when we see what our stats are. I'll do a quick calculation in my head about what starting armor is better. But, like, this is going to be our sneaky character, so... longbow is preferable... the short swords are preferable to, like, any other... Like, we could grab 2 scimitars if we want. Let's do that. Right? That's an option, isn't it? Or is it, like, only martial weapons? It looks like it's only martial weapons. Okay. And then this is finally our lowlife, who is probably going to be, like, leaning chaotic evil. Let's grab... egoism and greed, and then grab violence and caution. Perfect. We're all over the spectrum here. And then optimize. Okay. This worked out okay. Our stats aren't ideal, but they don't need to be. We can get a +1 to Dex, which is great. We'll take a +2 to Wisdom, and then a +1 to Con probably makes the most sense. I don't know, it'd be kind of nice if we can, like... This 6 sucks. That is brutal that we've got this 6 to deal with. Int is probably the best place to put it, though, because Int doesn't really interact with this character at all. Oh well. Like, it's otherwise fine. As far as arrays that are worse than point buy go, this one's not too punishing. I think we're supposed to put this in Constitution. Although having a 12 instead of an 11 makes a lot of sense, too. Sorry, I'm just getting texts. Ugh. Some stuff I'm trying to plan, and it's not important. Like, it just, like, Con is the good stat, but also this is an 11. So, I don't know. I think that I'm supposed to, like, move this over to Charisma and have a +1 to Charisma, even though it's never going to have an impact. No. The 13 Constitution, maybe there's something I'm not aware of that gives a +1 to Constitution at some point for some reason, and then I'll be glad that I did this. Okay. Proficiencies are ancestry skills, so we've got 3 for class and 3 for background, so we're gonna have a ton of skills. I don't know how to think about, like, which should come from where. I'm curious what it does for auto. It shows those are good choices. Class skills, survival, animal handling, and then insight's probably good. Maybe I want nature. I don't think we need nature. Our crafting's gonna be pretty bad, and even then we're gonna get proficiency in the kit for free. Maybe I want my... No. Investigation's never gonna be halfway decent. I think we kind of wanted stealth out of this. So let's grab perception and maybe deception. Our character, if they implement stuff, this is going to be the character who's most suggesting that, probably. And then we can do this. And then our background, we grab these 2 and insight. We need thieves tools. That's why we went low life. We get 1 language. The one I don't have so far is Orcish. And give me 1 gay character. You stupid. Bah. Sometimes I like names that are just like descriptions. Nah. What are some nature words? Come to think of it. River Whisper. How about that? Why not, right? Do you like how I gave a whole speech about my fighter and then this one's, I don't know, River Whisper? Okay, I'm feeling good about these characters. Let's get into the dungeon! And we are looking for Green Rock Foyer. I don't think the order matters a whole lot. This is our character, right? Tyrion and River. Great. Okay, I'm excited. This should be fun. Whatever the current time is, mark this time for the start of the actual dungeon. How did it take an hour this time? Good lord. I'm gonna start doing my characters off stream or something. Okay. Your party, fresh-faced sellswords from the Republic of Eri, have been hired by... I need to restart this. I forgot to do the gear. So this time we're just gonna do gear up before adventuring. You're gonna see me use this one a good amount, I think. Because we need thieves' tools, right? And I don't think we grab anything else, but I also want to do a rest to configure my spells known. So we're going to grab 4 rations to make this a rest that doesn't have any consequences. I think the weapons are over here, which is not what I want. So let's open up... Okay, configure all this. Leather is fine, longbow is fine, the 2 short swords is fine. We're gonna... Yeah. This being primary is fine. If we get caught out, then I have melee weapons. Yes, this character is going to be mostly using the light crossbow early on, so that looks great. We have... Yep, looks good. I might try out some different outfits on this one, but other than that, keep the gear mostly the same. Excuse me. A sigil ring. Very nice. And while I'm here, because we're going to save this with the characters, and that means I don't need to go back here. Go back and do crafting stuff again. Good. And then, okay. So I'm pretty happy with that. Thieves' tools are over here. Give that to River. Don't think there's anything else we need here. We've got plenty of torches. That's a lot of torches. Does Kieran already have a pearl? Good. Or does a spell book? I don't need a special arcane focus on any of these characters. Rangers don't use foci, right? Yeah, no. So the rest of the stuff here is not super useful for us. Okay. Mundane weapons. I think I'm alright for weapons, right? My short swords. Yeah, let's go to the closer, mundane closer here. You so don't care about this, but I'm gonna put you through it anyways. I am gonna grab an extra shield for Amelie for when I'm in hand axe mode. Like, just because it's a convenience thing. Like, doesn't actually improve my loadout's effectiveness. It just, I can be less lazy. Can't wear those. Some of these turned out to be unwearable, but that's whatever. Isn't this fun that I can do this? Isn't this dungeon worth having? I don't know. So my Shock Arcanist, this looks like a fun thing for a Shock Arcanist to look like, if I'm being completely honest. Scholar's Clothings. I like that one even more, honestly. Noble Clothes. Eh. Defiler Clothes. Doesn't look different. The Defiler clothes look different on some characters. Anyway. Commoner's clothing, no way. Cloaca. I don't know what this is. It's Cloak A, first of all, but that says Cloaca, right? It's so weird. And was that the last Scavenger Ranger outfit? That's a fun one, but for a different character. I think that, like, the orange for, like, Shock Arcanus is just fun. So we're gonna do this. And drop the other ones. Right? Like, this is what the adventuring clothes... That is not what that used to look like. What on earth? Are you kidding me? That's real tempting. That's so bizarre. That's like really... This is... If I do another run with like a Sylvan, I might do this. This is really cool. But, yeah. Stats are not different. This is still AC set to 10 plus Dex. We're not cheating. This is just I wanted a character that, like... I wanted my character to look kind of cool. Doesn't that look cool? And then decided that I don't need any special weapons or other equipment, right? Maybe... Yeah, not on my fighter, but on my cleric. We were thinking might have a two-hander. So, I don't know. We've got the sigil ring to trade, right? I'll just leave the sigil ring. Like I started with an aristocrat, so I dropped the sigil ring, trade that for like a cheap maul or something, right? Give the maul over here. This is probably wrong, but it's like, yeah. No, it doesn't actually make sense, because we got higher dex than strength. And then... I don't know. I'll hold on to it. Maybe I choose to use them all, right? And then... Other options... Over a Warhammer... Eh. Yeah, we'll hold on to them all. Just to have. Maybe grab, like, one extra hand axe. Like, I feel I would buy an extra hand axe. Right? Can you stack them? You can't. Just because it's thrown, right? You might throw it and lose it. Okay, I'm happy. Rest up for preparing spells. I shouldn't have wasted time on the other stuff. This was really just to prepare spells, and man, this looks great. Guiding Bolt is a good one to have, though. I usually want Inflict Wounds over Guiding Bolt on a character who's going to be a melee a lot. We've got Burning Hands, though. When am I using Inflict Wounds over Burning Hands? And we want Bless more than we want Cure Wounds, I think. Shield of Faith is okay. Not that great. Not at this level. We'll grab Cure Wounds just in case it's completely necessary. I don't think I'm ever preemptively doing the Shield of Faith thing, though. Okay, looks good to me. And Kieran, yeah, can just kind of have whatever they want. Whatever he wants prepared. Because of that crazy starting int. Okay, let's get out of here. I don't know which of these actually updated and which didn't, but we're just gonna... Mark the time! 10 minutes after I said to initially mark it. This is when we are finally starting the dungeon. I kind of want to actually have this, like, fighter, cleric, ranger, wizard. That's the order we'll probably do. Okay. I'm so sorry that took so long. It's just hard not to take long making characters, right? How do I look right now? Is my makeup okay? You can, like, barely see it. Which is fine, I guess. Your party. Fresh-faced sellswords from the Republic of Eri. have been hired by a remote hamlet's aging matriarch to inspect a nearby cave in the Green Rock Mountains. She suspects the hamlet's missing livestock has been brought there by bandits, poachers, or worse. Though it seems the elderly gnome knows more than she has let on. I like that. That's a good... That gives you everything you need. It's short and sweet. It adds character to it. You know, we know where we're from. We know that we're going to some backwater from some bigger place. Which is interesting. Interesting thing. Green Rock Mountains is descriptive. Livestock is a nice fun, like, low-level hook. It's good. And I like the, like, extra bit of mystery and extra bit of characterization going on with this matriarch. Overall, this is great. Great start. So let's go ahead and... Do we want to use a slot on mage armor at level 1? I think at level 1, usually we're kind of just, like, hoping that we can stay in the back lines and that that's good enough. Okay, so I'm immediately going over to caution. We're going to start walking forward. What I'm seeing is nothing super strange so far, so this choice is making me think that some kind of fire thing might happen. I want to quickly... It reeks in here of rotten eggs and shit. Okay, so we're setting the tone right away. I like that we immediately know what the tone is going to be like. This cave is clearly habited, as footprints and tool marks mar the tunnel floor. Okay. Yeah, no, and we can tell, too. I missed the stench thing that was said because of that. That's a placement thing that's maybe worth being a little bit aware of, that some characters are going to have that happen. But it's not a huge deal. Okay, so there's traps up here or a secret passage here. I usually like checking out secret passages. Usually when you find a secret passage, that's a better direction to go. So we'll find out what that looks like. Okay, Sorax immediately and a long rest point. I think we want access to the long rest point sooner rather than later, just to have it as an action. So I'm going to, like, move up and try to start this combat. We're going to have our more long-range characters kind of hiding around here. And then I'm going to have my melee characters. Although I say melee, but probably want to be in this kind of configuration. Stealthy character can move up a bit, and then we're going to start moving Amelie up. Started to be spotted. This is about as far up as we're going to get. So let's take that attack against the Sorak. I like that looking at the fire, that both is going to kind of justify us getting this surprise round here. Like, diegetically with them having the fire to look at. I said both, but that's the main thing. Then River's gonna hide here. Looks good. So I'm seeing a whole bunch of goblins. They're like over here. So I guess we're gonna get ambushed while fighting these. Which has to be intentional. If they can't see us, then that means that they were put in the same grouping. Unless it's a mistake, which I kind of doubt. Like, it seems like the idea is that, like, they've alerted these ones, but we'll see. It might actually be unintentional because it automatically gives them all the same index. So we'll see. Because they're going to leave this cover, so that might be... I don't know. I don't want to speculate on if they're unintentional, but those are my immediate thoughts here. Move over here so that we're in sight of these two. And I think that we're going to make immediate use of the whole Shock Arcanist thing. This, we're not a Shock Arcanist yet, so that's not... Whatever. I think I want to open up by just, like... Let's try to take out the most dangerous target. Gets seen, but that's fine. We still got cover here. Okay, so we don't yet see the goblin skirmishers. They're still acting surprised. I probably should have pre-cast Bless, but we're gonna do that now. That's my bad. Because we know the long rest thing is here if we, like, need it, so... And stay hidden. And I think Amelie is able to gap close here. We want to be able to be against a wall. And none of the other characters are visible, so I think I might actually just go up here. Well, no, we don't have the Mountaineer stuff yet, so I'm just going to run up and we're just going to see if we can take out the warrior before further things happen. That's 7 without dueling, hey? Pretty good. I guess we move here. Just want to start to get in that habit, you know? Okay, River's gonna come out, take another shot at the Sorkath. Good one. And now I think we're just gonna... Firebolt's relatively low damage, so we're just gonna, like, try to take out the Sorkath with it. That worked out well. And we're gonna hide. The Goblin Skirmishers are able to start getting closer, and this one does just enough in range to make an attack. So that makes me think that that it might be intentional, that, like, one movement gets them there. I'm actually going to move over here, then, so that we have cover from this side.
I thought we said cautious.
The light crossbow before level 5 does better damage, even at only a +2 dexterity, than... Uh-oh.
Stay with us.
You're good, River. Even, it does more damage until level 5 compared to, is this still a good position? We're gonna need to dash the turn that these become a deal anyways. Okay, maybe that was stupid. I interrupted myself. Why do I guess it's a bad habit. Okay, River wants cover too. And is going to attack the nearest skirmisher. And one-shots them. Good stuff. Okay, Wizard's gonna want to be, like, straight up out of sight. So we're gonna run up over here. Give him the old firebolt. And be out of movement. Oops.
No one behind.
Okay. Good thing we left a spell for Healing Word. And then we're going to attack this one. Hooray! Like I said, this just obviously has to be a dash action. We've already done the action, so switching to hand axe doesn't really make sense. Okay, neither of them have cover. It's fine. This difficulty seems about right anyways. For, like, a relatively large level 1 encounter. So I'm gonna go ahead and say it's probably intentional that the goblins were in the same index thing. And the idea is just, like, that the sound brings the other group over. It does feel a little bit like if I see these and then decide we're gonna look around a bit first, then...
You can take it.
We don't have medicine on this character, do we? We have a +5 medicine on this character. Okay, stabilized. Gonna hang out there.
Your comrades will save you.
Nuts. Let's do this so that we're threatening both of them but not blocking the one that we're trying to damage most. And then attack that very one and kill it. Okay, successful death save. That's good. Kieran's gonna be able to come over here and probably kind of just end this, right? Maybe not. It's a D10, who knows? Okay. It was kind of lazy, but... Oh my gosh, I don't like that. Okay. Yeah, just... don't want to lose this character. So now we're gonna run all the way over here. Chasing goblins is fun. Hand axes don't have the best range. But it was worth a try. Yay! Is that really only 112 experience? Okay. Okay, Amelie gets the hand axe back. River's unconscious. The rest of this stuff doesn't really matter. So River's stable. Is he gonna let us long rest? We have one ration. So, people have reported problems with this, where if a character ends a fight unconscious and you're out of easy to give healing, you're kind of boned. If I click short rest... Okay, so luckily there aren't enemies nearby, so I should be able to just short rest out of the situation. Okay, and I think we're going to keep going then. The hit die gives us enough. That went okay. Total resources used, 1 hit die. We'll go back to cautious and explore. I think this is the only area really unexplored here. So this is a very small start to the dungeon. Okay. This dungeon might not be as long as I thought it was going to be. Ooh. What lists are this on? Who can cast this? If I give this to Oriel... Nope. So that's only going to be a Kieran spell. I don't know why I thought that was it. Yeah. So Kieran can cast it, so that's cool. We have the ration pouch to our strength fighter, and then otherwise ingredients don't really matter. Okay. A nice little chest. These traps were just kind of like, if you have a bad perception and miss both of these, then they damage you. And there doesn't really seem to be anything else going on here. We found enough rations that I do want to take this long rest. Let's do a quick ration count in the party. 5, 6, 7. So we don't quite have enough. 8. Sorry, I missed this, right? 1, 2, 3, 8. We're gonna quick save here in case there's not a way back from the next part. But I think I want to move on. Because we didn't level up. We still have a spell slot. And 3 hit dice, so we have a lot of resources. Having defeated the foul creatures in the cave's mouth, the party descends deeper. Several questions remain unanswered. Where are the hamlet's animals? Why did the elderly gnome single out this specific cave? Why are these usually disparate species cooperating and cohabitating? Yeah, those are good questions. Like in the cave mouth, it stinks of sulfur and feces here. Sun's light, it reeks in here. Looks like a proper goblin outpost. We shouldn't charge right in. If there's a hob around, maybe we can negotiate. Let's look around. Hob, shorthand for hobgoblin, is cute. So I know with what's... Another back entrance. Okay. This isn't a door. probably supposed to go in through here. No, I'm probably supposed to see this as like the main entrance. Judging by the relative lack of tracks in this dirt, this area in the cave is much less frequented than around the camp. Okay, so let's check this area out. See a door there, so I want to check out where the door isn't. That's my player instinct, I don't know. When I see a rock I can move, I want to move it. So at the moment, there's some weird vision stuff right now with encounters starting. So I'm going to move here, see what I see. Don't see a lot, but it is a way in. So I'll keep this in mind that this exists to get in there. But I don't think I want to do that right now. Okay, there's a trap here, which is interesting. River fails to deal with it, but God, I hate the pathing sometimes. They need to fix that. That shouldn't happen. If I know there's a path here and I'm clicking specifically to get around it, then I should be able to get around it. Something to consider when you're building these dungeons, though, is to be aware that that problem exists, that the pathing can be very stupid about traps. And genuinely, I think you need to be careful about how you're placing your traps because of that. This torch kind of caused that problem indirectly. And I know it's dumb that you can't place a torch there with the trap there, but that's kind of just how it is right now, and I'm sorry, but it is a bit of a pain point that right now you should be being careful to make sure that the game's pathing is going to have characters doing what the players want them to do when making reasonable clicks to get around traps you're aware of but couldn't disarm. Same with traps that entirely block a corridor. You need to, like, be aware that what you're doing is saying, if you failed to deal with this, you need to make the choice about turning back or taking damage. Okay. We're gonna be careful. We're gonna see whether, like, okay. So this one's better placed. The torch isn't, like, the place you'd naturally go to get around it. There is a way around it. The perception check is enough to deal with the trap. Okay, and then this one's locked. Another out-of-place door. A goblin shaman and their pet spider look up at you in visible confusion and then malice. I feel like that was trying to indicate to me that this isn't supposed to be a fight I can do as a surprise. I'm conflicted about how to approach surprise rounds while I'm doing these. Because I'm trying to judge the difficulty of these dungeons in as honest a manner as possible. And so, to me, that kind of... there's so much that depends about how hard a thing's gonna be. Are you being cautious the entire time? Are you, like, forcing... are you, like, doing things where, like, during the Aksha fight, for example, in the main campaign, you can get a surprise round if you're, like, really cheesy about it? Like, all these kinds of things can make a huge difference. So I'm just not sure, like, if I get the indication that story-wise I'm not supposed to think of this as a fight where I got the jump on the person, should I take the fight that way, even though there are going to be people who aren't? And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to quick save here, and we're just going to, like, see what happens when it's not a surprise fight. So Kieran gets the first move. The Goblin Shaman, I know, is going to be dangerous, and I think the idea is that I'm supposed to have seen the Goblin Shaman. But I want to be positioned well, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start with the magic missile on the spider.
What went wrong there?
Yeah, that didn't do a whole lot of damage to it. We're going to hide from the spider. And end. I don't know what it did. That's worrying. Yikes! I didn't know Goblin Shamans could do that. Do we have an autosave from... Let's see if we can avoid this fight. We are clearly not prepared for it.
I thought we said cautious.
It was a poor time to quick save. Okay, different roles though, so we might be able to do something about it. If I... Okay, we're gonna spread out. God, it had to be River and Kieran who went first, hey? So this is gonna give us eyes, but not a way to, like, close in, which is, I guess, fine.
Did we not say silent?
Maybe we want it to go through here. This looks bad. And this one is out of view here, so okay, we're gonna... This time I think I want to cast Fireball as my opening and save the Magic Missile. That went great.
I don't believe it.
So we could lose Oriole and Amelie at the start here. Hard to know. Okay. River takes some damage and then gets acid arrowed. Okay. We're out of spells. We're gonna go over here, and I think this time we're gonna do Sacred Flame. Due to disadvantage, it's gonna hit the... It is gonna hit the majority of the time, compared to the +2 to hit. But whatever. We want to start distracting the spider, but I want to close in on the shaman. For now, we're gonna use the action to attack the spider rather than dashing.
Only the last blow matters.
This looks bad. Rangers don't have a very good first level. You can see the huge difference that initiative made in this fight, hey? No, I think that we just weren't supposed to take this fight at level 1. That's honestly what I think. At least without, like, our spell slots and everything. The architecture and what the characters were saying leads me to think that this was supposed to be the next fight. But the difficulty level says otherwise. So this is going to be a lot of cover. So we're going to do Shadow Dagger because Shadow Dagger's not affected by cover. Cool, they're not slowed anymore, but they were downed anyways. That went well, but that didn't. I don't know, it's turning out a little bit better now that, like,
Another miss.
we're not getting lightning bolted, right? Oof. Okay, I gotta stabilize River next turn. That sucks. One damage.
Hold it.
Okay. We're still in it. We're done. It's unfortunate. We gotta load the quick save from the foyer and walk all the way through that. It's just like such a jump in difficulty. Like either one of those is going to be like a genuine challenge for a level 1 character. I don't know. The rest might be an indication that I'm expected to be fully rested for the next fight. But does that make that much of a difference? There's also no way back here, which is a little bit annoying. So we're going to try going around this way, and if that doesn't work, we're going to try going through that other door. We'll do the door first. Like, that looks like it's supposed to be like a mini-boss or something. Okay, we did not get into the door. If there's not, like, a really reasonable fight here, we're gonna have to just load the quick save and take a long rest. But if that's the case, it's like... Do we actually have better cover over here? It doesn't really look like it. I don't know why the game is hinting to... Or the dungeon is hinting to me that I want to be coming from this angle instead, but this angle has cover. That doesn't seem right to me. It looks like I'm supposed to take this fight. Can this character... Yes. It's not even cover, that's nuts. Okay, so we're gonna walk Amelie forward. When Amelie starts to get spotted, we pause and... More Sorax, eh? Yeah, this fight might be a bit too hard. We're gonna find out.
I thought we said cautious.
This fight's gonna be too hard. It's weird that that's in vision of everyone. No spells to cast. I apparently don't see any of these characters. I'm gonna try to take out the goblins first this time. Okay, this is dangerous, but we're still in the surprise round. I just forgot to move Oriel here. While we have advantage, I think it makes sense to firebolt. Okay, and then Amelie's gonna run up and smash a goblin. Should have moved around a bit. Oh well. Just to this square so that we could get like a clean shot with someone. That's another shaman. I didn't see that before.
The idiot.
So we might be hooped here. I might just have to level these characters up to 2 before taking on the dungeon again. I don't want that to be the answer, but that's very likely the answer. I don't know. You kind of want the first floor to have enough experience to take you to level 2, right? On a level 1 to 2 adventure. gonna back up with this character because he wants to stay out of fights like this. This is proving a lot more manageable than I expected it to. I think I'm willing to take an opportunity attack in order to get over to the Goblin Shaman. Cool.
Fortune is fickle.
Dang. Still a good position. It's a good shock. So River is going to have to do some tanking that I didn't actually end up doing the math. River would have better defenses with the scale mail. I made the wrong choice.
Again. Huh?
This is pretty bad. Yeah, this is not a winnable fight either. One more attempt. We're going to quick save. Or quick load. We're going to load the quick save. We're going to take a long rest. It's just where, like, you gotta approach a different dungeon so differently because people have different design philosophies. This is continuing to look correct. I just want to double check. Yeah, and of course this is going to be right. Because the Tomb of Heroes, you need to be careful about when you're resting because there are not a lot of rations in there. There are no rations in there, so you have the one long rest. And it has to be the long rest that you use to level up, or you're just not making it through. And in this one, I tried to like be like, okay, I've learned my lesson from Tomb of Heroes, that I don't want to just take this long rest willy-nilly, even though it gave me this these rations, which might be a trap. They're both using rations intelligently and playing to the consequences of what happens when you give the players rations. One choosing to avoid that consequence and play around them not having it in an intelligent way. Whereas in this case... Okay, so these skeletons look like a manageable fight. It looks like we're supposed to take this fight to level up. But there's no long rest in here and there's no way back. So what... This is not a level 1 dungeon. We're gonna hope there's something in these chests that like makes this... Okay, you know what we're gonna do? Because right now the experience is not as valuable as not getting to this fight. We're going to run in here with River. Hope that River is stealthy enough. This is so odd. The rock's on the other side. So you don't even get the jump on. This is where you're supposed to go. Black Gem Parry Up. So we got some kind of magic item that we'll identify in a moment. And we did not unlock the locked one. Okay. So I successfully robbed this room, which is not too difficult. Then we're gonna get out of here. I don't know if the spells are enough. A well-built party that, like, takes the fight intelligently is probably going to be able to do it. so we're gonna try it. This is not the most intelligently built party ever, either. It's like this is a pretty normal party. Like, I made good choices and got decent rolls, but, like, I didn't do anything abusive, and in the optimization world, that means that I made suboptimal characters. So nervous watching them around this trap. Really glad there's not a trap here, too. Okay, we're gonna see one here, right? I don't recall. I guess not. Crap. That was bad. We lost the whiz save, too. So I'm gonna give Oriel's potion. Which didn't heal a lot. I should have used Second Wind is what I should have used. Darn. Oh well. Well, quick save here. I'm going to put my ranged characters on either side of the door like this to avoid getting completely blown out. We're going to move these two up here. My cleric. I just want to see what... Yeah, I can cast so few spells while I'm like in melee mode. My cleric is going to... So we're going to open the door. That's a mistake. I missed that the first time. You can't do that. This is clearly... Like, we've seen enough of the camp to know. This is the only way to progress in the dungeon, and it's behind a check. That's not okay. If I fail the check, then I have no choice but to say, well, I lost the dungeon, and, like, leave, and just never play the dungeon all the way through. Or, alternative to that, I have to save scum, which doesn't really feel good, but it's what I would do in this situation, because we're reviewing dungeons, and I need to play the whole thing. So we're gonna find out if we made it through. Okay, so that's it. That is twice. It is 3 times. In the first couple cases, following indications we've been given by the game, that we failed the dungeon with, like, reasonably built level 1 characters. So we're going to... I think F8 is quick load, right? Is that F9? And try it again. Like, it's just annoying to be... And also notice that there, again, we're not, there weren't thieves' tools anywhere here. If I hadn't gone to my own utility dungeon that I made to get thieves' tools, it would not have been possible for my very reasonable party to clear the dungeon. Like, there's no roll or anything, unless there are thieves' tools somewhere in that goblin camp I missed. This dungeon is incompletable for a large number of parties. And that's a big mistake. Anyways, we're gonna quick save again. I am going to preemptively bless my party. And then these two move in to begin the fight.
Oops.
And I guess what we wanted to do is, like, have Oriel start a surprise round, so we might try one more time doing that. Okay, luckily no lightning. Gosh, that's frustrating. What cover? It didn't say cover. That's also really frustrating. I think that's a miss anyways, but... whatever. So let's open with the spell. We've got 2 spell slots. Okay, let's get into a better position, which is going to be like here. And... honestly, just Guiding Bolt.
We bring light in darkness.
Okay. Good spell slot. That bites. That's a really good hit. Wow. What is it doing? Nothing appears in here. So let's see. Like, I mouse over this. 3/4 cover. Move forward to here. There's still the 3/4 cover. And if I move over here...
Clumsy idiot.
I'm a clumsy idiot. Okay, but no cover anymore, though. Which I think is a net gain. It depends on a lot of things. But we've killed the really dangerous part of it. And I'm going to move back 1. And now there's no way to hit River without getting past Amelie, I think. No, that's still possible. Okay, so we know that there's not going to be like a way to long rest here. So I want to save my other spell slot. We're going to try to Firebolt down the Deep Spider.
Damn it.
Okay, a failure means I do kind of need to run someone over to Oriel. Yeah, River's attacks are more valuable. Wait, no, I wanted to use a potion! Crap, I wanted to use a potion. I just clicked without thinking. Something is buggy with the Deep Spider. We're gonna do this and just finish the dungeon just to finish our review. But I'm also gonna load this quick save. Let's just, like, for my convenience later. Quick save 5. We're gonna load quick save 5 and try the fight one more time. But for now, we're gonna abuse the bug and just get out of this area. What? I don't know what to make of that. Oriel's actions are worth... gosh. Yeah. And then I guess here is the ideal place to be standing. Disadvantage is interesting. I don't know why it has disadvantage. It's brightly lit. Okay, so if I knew that the Deep Spiders had the thing about light, then this also would have been a more manageable fight. So this fight is manageable. It's just a matter of, like, you're often going to have to take it without spell slots. No 3/4 cover. No cover. Yeah, this has made the fight a lot more manageable. Okay, I'm okay with this fight. It's just, like, weird that there's no access to a fire. Which might change as we go deeper. That gets us enough to get to level 2, which is sweet. So maybe that is intentional. I might be being a little bit too hasty. This mistake is hard to forgive. But this encounter is okay. Scroll of Command, sweet. So that, I don't recall who can cast that. We'll grab it on Kieran just to find out. Or we'll grab the Bolt River, we'll, oops, I guess grab a torch and an arrow, and then we'll grab all the gold. Okay. Quick saving again. Second one recharges on a short rest, so I think what we are going to do is I'm going to use Second Wind, and then I'm going to take a short rest in case I need that, I can't. In case I need that hit die later. In that, like, off chance. If I can't short rest, I still won't regret using that. Dang it. Okay. So there doesn't seem to be anywhere that I can short rest. Which is frustrating. That's another thing to look for. It's not something dungeon makers have a ton of control over at the moment. So it's not something I really want to be dinging people too much for. But if you're intentional about making sure that there are places to short rest when you're going to need to, that's going to be good. So now that I've quick saved though, I do want to go back here and attempt this fight. Let's get spotted. Let's force these guys through here. Because they're gonna have initiative, they're gonna see that this is the way to do it. So we've abused the terrain to just beat the absolute living tar out of the enemy, which is not something I have a problem with doing at all. I should have been set up better to do this.
Well struck.
I don't think this gives any cover, just cover for me, right? Yep. Nice. So out of curiosity, if I'm standing here, can I cast spells? Sweet. So Amelie's going to ready an attack. What does it say? Too far away to be perceived. So if I move up here... then it's just I can't see. Yeah. So the thing is that, I guess because Kieran's smaller, Kieran can see through here. Let's find out if Oriel can. Nice.
Nice move.
I'm in favor of this kind of design, by the way. Teasing an encounter and then later, like, seeing that there's going to be a way to make the encounter way easier, because you can see that right here, while you're, like, looting the chests and everything, is, in my opinion, good encounter design.
Damn it.
There's a choke point that I'm aware I'm going to be able to use later if I'm smart about how I take the fights. So that's reason to... oh, cool, I can see here. Ah. So that's reason to, like, delay taking the fight, which is a thing that is rewarded later. So I can see right here, right? And there's not even cover. That's cool.
You have them now.
I'm going to take one step back. It's going to let Amelie take her ready to swing. Yeah! You love to see it. So, in this case, I think Sacred Flame is like less expected damage, but it's low enough that like the disadvantage on a dex save means that it's almost always hitting, and that's worth it. We were like 1 damage off. That's rough. Kieran should not be standing here. Okay. Worked out fine. I'm gonna get Kieran over here. So now the fight is turning a little bit. I'm real tempted to use my now final spell slot. But we don't know what's next over here. So I'm kind of forced to not, because there's no long rest in the near future. I need to be like top form, like under pain of completely ruining this run, for my next fight, in case there's a fight in front of the next long rest.
I trained hard
God.
for this.
Don't we just love Amelie? Is Amelie not just the best?
Better luck next time.
And we'll like move a little bit away with River. You know what? I think that we're actually melee attacking with Oriel. Just because they're vulnerable to... Crap. Just because they're vulnerable to bludgeoning damage. And Oriel's got 18 armor class, so like... Who gives a heck? Who gives a het? You know? I sure don't give a het. If I had a het to give, as low as I would value that het, I still wouldn't give it. Is how little I care. I'm gonna start using that. Okay, we're gonna stop trying to do that. But also, are we? This fight is going extremely okay. We have used, like, no resources at all on it.
Death
Cool.
claims you.
Yeah, I liked that fight. That was good. And now we can come over here.
Dive in the dirt, now!
Which voice does River have? I like it. I don't think I had someone with River's voice when I did the main campaign. So here's a little trick for you. It's unclear to me whether this is intentional or not. You can pass these tools around a party, and then the various people can make different attempts to do Thieves' Tool stuff. It's 1 attempt per character, but as long as someone has tools, you don't need to be proficient. So we found a rapier, which I guess I'll give to River, even though I don't think River's going to end up using that. We've got a Scroll of Shield of Faith, which is kind of neat. And a Spider Venom Gland. Yeah, that Scroll of Shield of Faith is going to help us, because Oriel doesn't have anything else to concentrate on, so I'm really glad. And then Oriel's gonna hand over the Thieves' Tools back to River. Yay.
I don't like it.
I'm out of spell slots, right? Like, because we did that. That Guiding Bolt was just so reckless. I don't know what I was thinking with that. So we're gonna do another quick save, because that fight just went so well. I don't think there's really anything else for us here on this level, so we're gonna keep going to the final part of the dungeon. If this dungeon's as short as I think it is, I think we're just gonna spend more time on it, trying to, like, learn as much as we can about it, so I can give, like, a fuller review. Just because, at this point, there's only 45 minutes left, I want to give whatever the next dungeon I do as much time as possible. 3 hours is not a big window to be doing this, hey? I could go to 6:30 if I need to. If this ends really quickly, then we'll... If this ends in the next 15 minutes, then I'll move on. The cave tunnels open into a fortress or temple carved from stone bricks. The atmosphere is oppressive and dank, though there are some traces of recent humanoid foot traffic. The foul stench of the troglodytes in the caves above lingers in the air, though it is thankfully much less intense here than in the Warrens. The natural cave walls above flow directly into the brickwork below, with no visible seam between them. No tool marks, no lingering magic auras, not even the twisted fuse marks typically left behind by gnomish lithomancy. It is almost as if the bricks naturally emerged from the stone. They are made from the same soft green schist after all. Writing is really good in this module. I'm digging the aesthetic it's giving us. I'm interested to see what happens, genuinely. This architecture is far more sophisticated than that crafted by either goblin or troglodyte hands. So the Sorax were supposed to be troglodytes, not Sorax. This person is kind of using more classic D&D lore. That could have been indicated earlier. I think this architecture is dwarven. It reminds me of the ziggurats in Esophon on High. But Esophonic architecture? Here? We're a long way from dwarven territory. Easily 10 days on horseback. So no long rest yet. Do you hear that? Trouble ahead. Doesn't sound like trogs or gobos. More skeletons. We're going to attempt to move this much closer. Crap. Okay, that worked great. This fight looks manageable. I'm tempted to use Shield of Faith, but I don't think I need to. These skeletons are dwarves!
Must do better.
That's cool. Once we get up a little bit, we see the skeletons are dwarves. Surely someone crosses this threshold during the fight. I like how they did that. I like how they did that. That's neat. It looks like just a bunch of regular old skeletons, so we are going to do 2 of these that usually takes out a 7 damage thing and then hit the next one. Perfect 7 damage, you gotta love it. And then we're gonna get behind this candelabra thing. I want to be as far forward as possible on my fighter. Yeah.
Perfect.
Every time I see that vulnerable word, it just feels good. And there's a lot of skeletons over here. Okay. We might have to use the Shield of Faith scroll. We'll find out. I think we're going to keep the ranger in view because we want to be able to move up as much as possible over here. I'm going to switch to crossbow. And just be positioned somewhere. Yeah, probably should have been better. Would have been better around here to make it hard to like get to Oriel without passing Amelie. Okay. That's enough to see. We're gonna have to probably move Kieran up to keep firebolting. Yeah! Crit! And let's move... I like this position. Holds the skeleton here if I miss. Okay.
Only the last blow matters.
Had to dash to catch up to me, so that means it was good positioning. As did that one. Okay. So it's like, oh no, now we're like back to the wall surrounded by skeletons. But like this is where this character likes to be, right? I'm tempted to leave the like really weak one for someone else, but just killing that is like the highest impact thing we're gonna get. And River's gonna like stay there, I think.
Again.
I might do the math later on whether that's actually higher expected damage. Later. Crap. This is high enough that I feel like it's not a waste to like
I trained hard
do this
for
big swing. And then standing still, of course. If not for the whole bludgeoning thing, there'd be an argument for Amelie to just be like standing here dodging. I like that the skeletons are spread out. It lets us get like a lot of fun combat in without it seeming like hopeless. I can just like make sure that my like highly ranged party is like positioned well. We want to be close to here so that I can like crawl behind this thing if needed. And just like take the fight on my turns and make it a much more manageable fight.
I was sure.
I hope that I didn't give them cover because Kieran's so small or something like that. By the way, the reason that this is Solasta Unarmored Defense and Fancy Skeleton title is some kind of...
Stay with us.
And Oriel's out of spell slots. I should have used that scroll. I absolutely should have used that scroll, or at least been dodging. I don't think I saved before this. Yeah, I didn't have the spell slot left. None of our characters are fast enough to get there, so we just have to, like, seriously just hope for the best. Amelie almost certainly dies here. And I'm just gonna have to use my Revivify, which just has to be okay.
Deal with it.
I thought that was a skeleton for a second. My brain just did a whole thing. Skelly's rolled well, and now I'm a little bit screwed. I'm probably gonna have to go back down to an easier difficulty. Yeah, I have cover. Let's get out of here. Amelie's dead as anticipated. Weird choice from the skeletons. And we're looking pretty okay now. Come on. It's our only Revivify character, so like... I don't have a potion on this character. I think I might be screwed. if Oriel doesn't roll like a 20 on a
You've
death
got a nice
save.
scar. Yeah.
I don't know what that 10 plus means. Usually that counts down from 10 for how many turns until they can't be revivified anymore, right?
No quarter given.
Okay, so we used the revivify, but it's okay. We'll see if we can short rest here. It's not really very useful loot. Okay, another one of those. That's interesting. It's not safe to rest here. None of our other characters have healing items, right? Yeah, I suspect that just, like, the way this dungeon is built. Okay, so that's a hint that that's the way out, which is nice because I also just know that that's the way out from this being here. Come on. Was there... Can I move, please? Hello? Camera. I don't want to look at the fight right now. Okay. Where were we? Here. We're gonna look really quickly for a place to long rest. If we don't find it, I'm going to easy mode. I'm killing all the goblins. I'm long resting, and then we're going back through here. Just thoughtless about where the long rests are and how leveling works here, right? Like, it's fine if you want this to be a gauntlet where you for the whole adventure, you're whatever level you started with because of how the experience and the location of the only reasonably accessible long rest is. Because level 1 characters just can't beat 3 Sorak warriors, a goblin shaman, and several other goblins. That's just not how it's gonna go down. Yeah, nothing over here. So these south doors have to, like, and we're just gonna, like, immediately like, I'm skipping normal all the way to explorer mode. Because I just, at this point, I am an explorer. I just want to see what's going on.
You like that?
Yeesh, that's what an explorer mode crit looks like? I mean, like, that was a, like I was saying, that was a fun combat. It's just, I don't think that the intention was for it to be that difficult, and I want to see what's ahead. I don't have second wind. Did I not short rest? Oops. The point of killing the skeletons was to be able to short rest. That's a mistake. So Amelie is going to be dodging, as I kind of indicated was probably the right call.
Wait till the next one.
Oof. Left it with 1 health. Oops. Oriel's in a bad position. Nice!
That one didn't even fight back.
It's a nice demonstration of what a huge difference difficulty makes. Like, this isn't even a fight.
A modest success.
That would have finished off the other one. Oh well. I forget what strength I gave Kieran. It might sometimes make sense to use a quarterstaff against skeletons, but... Please unlock. Oh, so if you go up to the door, it gives you this hint that it's safe to be there. Where did that come from?
You cannot defeat me.
Is this not on the same index as the other ones? Was that somewhere else? Did that spawn after I stepped here? Something weird happened there. I never checked what the... There we go. There's no rest. There's just nothing. Yeah. The fact that you, for me, it's the fact that you can't go back to the first long rest thing. This is like a complete gauntlet where you are only level 1 all the way through. And like this fight over here is just not appropriate for... I mean, we'll find out. I don't know. Let's, like, hightail it back over here. We'll take the short rest we desperately need. I will cast Identify on the Periapt. Proof against poison, so not really a useful magic item. You can wear it if you like. And we will take our short rest. Kind of nuts that the Periapt of Proof Against Poison requires attunement. They did that item dirty. Okay, now that we've gotten through the fight, we got our short rest, which reasonably we should have done earlier anyways. Let's just keep in mind we're short a Revivify that we lost, that we used there. But we will go back to Scavenger now. And I'm gonna quick save. I should have... Last time I finished a fight there, I was just feeling cocky. And we're gonna open this door again and see what happens. Okay, and there are archers now.
Even the dead could hear you.
Damn it.
Like, because we've got a surprise round, I think we come up here. Right? Like, there's this choke point, and it makes sense to try to take the fight at the choke point, but... then we, like, lose an attack.
Not bad, eh?
Almost. Okay. It's just a long time to be level 1.
That's
Ah! If only that one thing had missed, which it was more likely to than not. Okay, well, Amelie's just out of the fight now. Oriel's gonna try to hold this choke point. While the other two just, like, do the meat grinder thing. Probably should have been a dodge action. Should have been a dodge action. We'll attempt it one more time. These enforcers are, like, brutal, though. There's no traps or anything here.
Too slow.
Nice. Good job, Oriel. This turn I'm going to use Shield of Faith. Which is a bonus action, so now we're also just going to dodge. So Oriel should be able to just, like, hold this choke for as long as we need. While River backs up and just does a lot of damage.
Get me.
Okay, now Kieran is threatened. So that's not good. Can I see my to hit with this? +1 to hit. Yeah, no, that's not good enough. I don't think we can afford to have Kieran just, like, standing here and dodging. And Kieran has 12 armor class. So a hit here could mean Kieran just dies. Crap. Kieran's life sucks, I guess. I don't think Oriel can actually be dodging. Yep, we failed to hold the choke.
Another miss.
This fight's over. This fight's over. We will try taking that fight properly with like really defensive fighting at the choke point and a lot of like ranged attacks. And then if that doesn't work, we're just story moding this dungeon. Actually, you know what? There's like nothing useful in there, is there? Because there's the place to crawl through here. I think we want to skip that fight. Yeah, there wasn't the skeleton here. It was like when we walked... Oh no, this was after that happened.
You don't mind being on your knees, do you?
That's the north wall. Aha! This is a mean dungeon. This is an absolutely mean dungeon. Deep spider, badlands spider. Okay, so I think that we gotta just like ditch the ranged thing and go up to... Because these two are here, so I just gotta like be standing here and start trying to kill this badlands spider. Luckily, it's like well lit, which to me kind of makes it feel like there shouldn't have been spiders here. There's cobwebs everywhere. So I don't know. So I don't think I need to cast light. I think that there's enough light here that they should all be at disadvantage. I have to just, like, punch this one, I think. Really unfortunate that Kieran is adjacent to one of them. Kieran's going down this fight, I think. Like it... This just shouldn't be a level 1 dungeon. That's honestly, I think, just going to always be my opinion here.
Hey, that was mine.
Okay, so you can't get to Kieran if I'm positioned here without an opportunity attack. River's down. Because River should and doesn't have chainmail. Kieran can waste a turn stabilizing because Kieran's in such a bad position anyways. I didn't want to be a melee with this character. I don't know why I did that. That was a good hit, though. Come on. Weird. Prioritizing this one.
Unfortunate, that.
If we can just push through this, then everything will be alright. Please hit again. Come on! One damage. Okay. We're story moding it. Like, these are kind of doable fights if you attempt them all. Like, you need to be attempting these fights multiple times to, like, know what to expect and strategize around them and everything. But... Like, I have... How much experience? Two of the large spiders and two of the small ones, it honestly kind of feels like I'll be close to level 3 by the time I get to the first level up rest. So we're gonna go here. I'm going to... Oops. Be on Explorer mode. And we're just gonna move Amelie up here.
I spotted a trap of sorts.
Okay, so the fight now is a lot more reasonable with Amelie able to, like, be surrounded, and then our more ranged party members are back here. Awesome. Like, there aren't any, like, set pieces to even, like, work around in this area either. Like, if there was, like, something we could use to our advantage in here, then that would be a different story, but I don't see what that would be.
Did we not say silent?
3 damage is fine. Just want the whole party focusing on one thing. Hitting the Badland Spider wouldn't be doing a whole lot.
Damn.
Bam. Okay. We're gonna hope she survives to the next turn, and can you... Okay, and she's going to. Good. That's a good hit. That's a really good hit. Ah, I was wrong. Come on, just miss this attack, and then Amelie is good to use Second Wind. Fighters have such a good level 1. You might be thinking at home, wow, the approach to this fight makes a huge difference. Maybe it's not so bad. But remember that I turned down the difficulty like an immense amount.
How does that feel?
Like, I don't know. I, like, challenge anyone to attempt this dungeon on Scavenger or higher with level 1 characters. I don't see how you do it.
You'll surely
That was a suspicious number of crits. We'll hand those arrows out momentarily. Okay, some nice items in this chest. A javelin is better than a hand axe. And we might as well learn how to craft a thing. And out of curiosity, our level... or our experience... 749, so not quite there, but... if you can fight them before leveling, that's ideal, because then you'll be at level 3 before the end of the dungeon, but I don't think we're even... well, I guess we have to fight them. We're going to peek what's on the side of this wall first, because it's a small... if it's like a 150 experience fight, then we want to take it. There's heavy, and you can sense an intimidating presence on the opposite side of the chamber. Okay. So this is where the boss fight is, basically. We will level up to 2 and go back to scavenger mode. And then hopefully we can finish the dungeon here. The plus side is that with a level 2 ranger, we're going to be able to take as many long rests as we want. Because we're for sure taking Goodberry. Amelie is now a level 2 fighter. Oriel is now a level 2 cleric. River is now a level 2 ranger. Got a couple choices here. We're going to take archery fighting style. And Hunter's Mark Goodberry. We're gonna be careful not to lose concentration on Hunter's Mark. We only get the one cast of it because we do need to cast Goodberry, and we'll cast Goodberry right away. Getting Shock Arcanist is a huge leg up. I'm gonna be able to grab Thunderwave now, and honestly, probably Sleep too. Sleep is really good. Probably shouldn't have grabbed Shield if I'm being honest. Probably should have grabbed Sleep instead. Or False Life even over Shield at this point. Yeah, looks good. We've already got Fog Cloud, so... Excuse me. Okay. And make sure Oriole spells continue to make sense. Looks like they do. Okay. Okay! We're in business now. So I'm gonna quick save here in case we need to clear that other room and get to level 3 first. Going to... So they do need a spell focus. Did I give a spell focus? Did I take an extra spell focus for someone? Oops. To actually be wearing it. That's all. So note to self that rangers don't get a spell focus and also need one. Oddly. We're also going to have to split these up. Let's say 3 per party member who doesn't have a healing thing. And then... just for fun, we can give 1 to you. And then the potion of healing... I guess makes sense on the ranger. Okay. I want to quick save again, actually. Oop. Give this back. And let's try it. I'm not sure what the deal with that trap is. This is a cool setting for a final boss fight. Dang, as soon as the evil priest appeared, eh? Of course the final boss is evil priest. Of course. Where's the ogre zombie? It's over here? Okay. That's worth knowing. Spectral spiders are, like, annoying to deal with. We want to be killing the... I don't think we're killing the evil priest before Blur gets up, so I think it's a waste to try to do that, basically. So we're going to focus on the threat that's visible. Annoyingly, I forgot to cast Bless. Everything's already lit up, okay. Marking the spider might be a mistake, but I think we're gonna do it.
You'll need to do better than that.
We lost advantage, but it's fine. Like, we've got archery style. Gotta spread our characters out as much as possible for the evil priest. Who, oddly, did not cast her signature
That's
spell.
on me.
Okay, so let's... Ugh. Well, we've got to try to kill the spider now. Here probably makes the most sense. I like action surging right at the start of the fight, just like
That's the way.
get their health down as fast as is possible. Okay, that's our next target. What is the... Guaranteed damage on the spider might be smart, actually. The blinded thing... No, we'll save it for the evil priest. Honestly, though... Just burning hands here.
Another victory. This is destiny.
Hold up the shield, but get out of here. See, now that I'm level 2, I'm having a ton of fun with this fight. Like, the church is a great setting. There are a lot of set pieces that you can use to your advantage. You need to be thinking about the chandeliers a lot. There's a ton of them. Maybe a little bit too many. Might be a little bit heavy-handed with the chandeliers. We'll try to hold the last one for a sleep spell. I don't know if that ogre zombie's coming. What we're gonna do is, because I know Evil Priest knows shield, to cast 1 on her to try to bait the shield out. And then 3 here. And that worked out perfectly. Gonna run right up to the Evil Priest here. Let's just stay on top of the altar. Let's be... What? Oh, it's lootable, so like, okay. You can't stand on it because it's lootable. That's a little bit annoying. That's worth knowing for when I'm making my own dungeons. I think that's like a easily forgivable mistake, if it's even reasonable to call that a mistake. I'm regretting my protection fighting style, by the way. That feels like it was a mistake. A less forgivable one, even. What's the range on Bless? Have I completely screwed myself? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I stand here... Who's in range? Not you, but you and you, so okay. The archery fighting style character doesn't need Bless. I shouldn't have ended my turn there for the lightning thing. Surprisingly, that's not cover at all. That was through shield. That's impressive. It's a whole different fight if Evil Priest uses Blur here like she normally does. Shield this! Oh. I like this thing too at the edge here. Giving her this place to run to with, like, still just something you can do about it. This is why we like Sun Cleric. Oh. Is there a different, like, Evil Priest that doesn't have Blur? Or is this just weird RNG?
I trained hard
We're still in... Yeah, this is scavenger mode.
for this.
This is why I kind of have a problem with this dungeon, is that the difficulty was really coming from the fact that I just didn't have access to a way to level up. And that's not where you want your difficulty to come from, right? I don't like that the ogre was positioned in such a way that you need to go find it after Um... Okay, there's the ogre. Do we bother throwing a hand axe? I guess we might as well, right? Or I guess it's a javelin now. We didn't have the action to do it. Silly question. Got a clear shot. And do we miss it? Since it's a large base, it can't possibly get through the doorway, so this is a perfectly safe position. Nice. Still not taking actions. It's stuck! It's stuck inside of this thing. I didn't think that was possible.
Well done.
Okay, well, I don't want to cheese this fight too much more than I already am. Okay, I was worried that I hit this chandelier for a second.
Too slow.
Okay, ooh, good one. 12 damage. Rangers are cool. See, like, the ogre zombie doesn't even, like, change the fight, like, super fundamentally. If they're able to, like, go in here. This was just a weird fight. I don't know what to tell you. Between the evil priest not really doing her thing properly, and... I don't understand what was up with that spider.
Run while you can.
Yeah, morning stars are fun, but... Okay, there's nothing in here. We're gonna check the chests for, like, a key or something? I don't know what the way out is. We're cautious just in case there's, like, a secret that we could potentially miss. I think that skeleton fight might actually end up turning out to be the last necessary fight. If there's not some item in this chest that lets us go get out of here, then I just don't know. I don't know why we would try to disarm this trap. I guess the traps are there, like, if we want to do something with them in the fight. Okay, so there's a door here, so we can now take this fight. Okay, well, we don't want to. This door is the way forward. Okay. I see no reason not to long rest. We've got a ranger. We good buried. We're, like, about to be level 3. Which, to me, implies that we're expected to be level 3 in the next fight. Much like a lot of this dungeon has expected us to be level 2. Despite not making it impossible for us to be so if we started at level 1. That's really what I'm salty about with this dungeon. It says level 1 or 2, but, like... It should... It would have been an entirely different experience if it was a level 2 dungeon, right? I don't know. I get giving that freedom, but you're giving us a guideline on... Like, if we're trying to just, like, have complete freedom, just, like, make all of the dungeons 1 to 10, right? Like... You need to make that decision. The full freedom thing doesn't make sense in this context of dungeon starting levels. Mountaineer doesn't make a lot of sense with like a highly ranged party, does it? I need to get the strength up. Level 4 is going to be a big deal for this party. Okay, marksman. Reaction shot's going to be fun, I think. Herbalism or poisoner's kit. Well, we can already do the herbalism kit stuff, so I guess we grab the poisoner's kit, right? Because we've got survival. We get one more spell. It might as well be cure wounds. And Kieran. Okay, so we've got Scorching Ray, so I am now hilariously more powerful than I was at level 1. Hold Person makes a lot of sense to me. Misty Step makes a lot of sense to me. Shatter's not on our list, so it doesn't really make sense. Our Cleric gets Ray of Enfeeblement, so we don't really need that one. Levitate might be our best option. That or Hold Person. I like Hold Person more. Okay. Why not Hold Person, right? And our spells are going to be not Detect Magic, Scorching Ray. Yeah, we're able to hold like pretty much all the spells we want here. At this point, now that we've got 6 spell slots, Shield and Mage Armor start making a lot more sense. I think I like Sleep more than Thunderwave for this stage of the game. And then Oriel's spells. Blindness. Dark Vision and Scorching Ray. Hold. Oh, spiritual weapon, of course. And Scorching Ray makes it so I don't really want other level 2 spells. Like, these two are good enough, and then for level 1, this stuff all makes sense. Maybe we ditch Guiding Bolt and we start to try to be a bit more frontliney, and then Protection versus Good and Evil can be sometimes really good. Or maybe Aid just for emergencies. Right now I feel unstoppable. Now I'm like, I don't care what's behind this door, I can handle it. Okay, we've got like 15 minutes before I gotta just like peace out, so if this isn't the final boss, then apologies to our viewers. Amelie had the thieves' tools? Whoops. Again, you don't want to put something behind a skill check if it's important for progression of the story. And this is technically a set, like, you could just start this dungeon without the previous ones if you wanted to. I should identify those. I should have identified those before the long rest. Whoops. Okay. We walk in here. I hear nothing but silence. That's supposed to be a hint that this is, or hopefully is a hint that there's not a fight immediately in here. And it seems that that was right. Okay, there's a button. What's the button do? Start a fight? Open one of these? From the southeast, so that guides me back to where I came from. Somewhere around here, right? Aha! Nope. Aha! So I think we're done. I think that was indeed the final boss fight. If there's just the exit and nothing else, then I'm gonna end the stream by just kicking the absolute butt on scavenger difficulty of these skellies, just for fun. Just to showcase the unbelievable, unstoppable raw might. Yeah. Okay, so there's a part 2 coming. I'm interested to see part 2 because I am actually kind of wrapped up in the story here. I want to find out what was going on with all of that. There's some interesting stuff happening. But gosh, this has been a rough one to get through. So we want to like move up to here, and I'm honestly just going to start us off with like a big scorching ray. Isn't that fun? Isn't Shock Arcanus fun? Okay, we'll Hunter's Mark the archer here.
Can't say I'm surprised.
Yeah, the enforcers are like low enough in the order that just readying an attack doesn't make a lot of sense. We are against a wall here, so we should be getting the benefits of Tunnel Fighter.
Never mind.
Yep, 20 AC. And for that same reason, we're going to want to be up near Amelie, just because I want to use Protect once. Just once in this whole module. And then... whatever, it's fine that I didn't use a spell. Okay, can't see the archers yet. Let's see. Plus 2 AC. If I'm here. Plus 2 AC. It still probably goes down before the other one.
Good.
Cool. There's this theory in the D&D community that the fighting stuff... That feels good. Seeing an 18 miss on my Tunnel Fighter, that feels really good. There is a theory... I might save these characters for part 2 of this, actually. And not use them for another thing. That'd be kind of cool. There's a theory in the D&D community that some people have that... How does that not cover? I'm just gonna, like, for the next 10 minutes, start sentences with "there's a theory in the D&D community that," and then trail off. And y'all are just gonna have to deal with it. There's a theory that the fighting styles are designed around covering weaknesses of the types of character they are built for. God, Shock Arcanus feels amazing. Why would you ever play a different kind of wizard? Still can't see this archer for some reason. It's just hiding. Absolute steamroll. So the support for that is that the dueling fighting style is obviously designed for using a shield. Why did I... This is bad Tunnel Fighter positioning. That's gonna take getting used to. Right? Because if you're using a shield, you don't have a great weapon. And that means... Darn. That you're dealing, on average, 2 less damage per hit because of how the damage dice math works out. So, it's set to specifically plus 2 damage for specifically that reason. That now shield users can do as much damage as great weapon users. Notwithstanding any differences that are made by feats or other character options, because that'll make a difference too. The baseline for a one-hand and shield fighter's damage is the same as the baseline for a two-hander's damage without any other features compared to with dueling. Of course, great weapon fighting changes that. But that's why it's that way. Compared to the archery fighting style being a +2 to hit instead of anything to damage or a +1 to hit or what have you, it covers us in the case of often a thing that ranged characters have to deal with that melee characters don't have to deal with is cover. So a +2 to hit helps deal with that. In situations of partial cover, now you have the same to hit. Your weakness has been covered by your fighting style. And then great weapon fighting doesn't do this because the fighting style for people who use a two-handed weapon isn't great weapon fighting. It's defense. And what you give up when using a two-handed weapon is use of a shield, which defense partially covers. Which means that... Oh, this is good news. Because now we have an acceptable AC. Let's just leave the rapier behind. Isn't that nice? Now when we need to stealth, we switch over. Okay. Because great weapon fighting is a terrible fighting style. It adds, on average, like, a little bit more than 1 damage when using a greatsword. And it's, like, less than a damage if you're using a great axe. Or mauls are 1d12 too, right? So if you're using a maul or a greatsword, it's a little more than 1 damage, and it's a little less than 1 damage. Expected damage, I should say. Obviously, less than or more than 1 damage doesn't really make sense. But your expected damage, or as my thesis advisor would want me to say, the expectation value of damage increases by like a little bit less or a little bit more than 1 damage. Which makes it just a weak fighting style. And so you usually end up taking defense, unless you're going full striker. It's a legitimate choice. Like, if you're trying to just do as much damage as possible, great weapon fighting style is the way to do it. Especially with the way feats, both in this game and pen and paper 5th ed, shake out. Yes. And then protection is if you're interested in not shoring up one of the weaknesses of your style. That's the theory anyways. We're going to update all of these files because I want to use these characters in part 2 of that. That may... no. I'm not going to hold on to characters for an unknown period of time when we're going to go through a ton of dungeons. That's silly. I might hold on to... What I'll do is I'll copy these saves and I'll keep using these characters for part 2 when it comes up, but I'll still keep using the characters for other stuff. Okay. Final thoughts on the dungeon we just saw. There's a lot of good about the design that are overshadowed by the very large mistake of giving enough experience to reach level 2 and then not having a way to rest until after multiple fights that are too hard for level 1 characters. That, in a dungeon that says level 1 characters can play it, is a difficult to forgive mistake. If this dungeon were labeled level 2, or if I should say module, because it's technically 3 dungeons, using the usage of the... Well, it's the dungeon maker, and these are locations, so a 3-location module. Right, and then it's 2 to 5 for here. 1 to 3 makes sense here because you could get... Well, that's weird. You can't get from 2 to 3 here. It makes... You're making the fight... You're making this dungeon really easy for yourself if you start level 3 in part 2. Did they just think that there was more experience in level 1? Did we miss experience in level 1? I don't know. At any rate, my understanding, and I think I was fairly meticulous in the first very small part, is that they're also... make this one medium is the other way to fix it, or make it possible to go back. Like, there's a lot of ways to fix... It's a big mistake, and there's a lot of ways to fix it. And that mistake soured me on a lot of it. The other major mistake is that you cannot progress to the end of Part 2 or Part 3, or section, like, Part 1, Section 2, Part 2, Section 3, or Part 1, Section 2, and Part 1, Section 3, you cannot progress to the end of if, A, at all if you don't have a Thieves' Tools kit, B, if you fail the roll on the Thieves' Tools. That's another big mistake. A lot of, like, you're gonna set people back a lot when they fail those rolls. Because in the D20 system, really skilled adventurers constantly fail rolls. Like, a level up to 3 character. Let's say you have a +4 to dexterity and you have expertise. You have a +8 on your Thieves' Tools. 5% of people who bring rogues, which is already not everyone, who have their proficiency on Thieves' Tools, which is not everyone of that group, who have a +4 dexterity, which is certainly not everyone of those groups, still, if they roll a 1, so 5% of those, like, I've narrowed down the best case scenario. 5% of the best case scenario characters, get stuck and can't progress because they fail their roll. Yes, there's the exploit I showed. Yes, there's the save scumming. But that feels really bad. It's gonna sour the experience of the player, and that's important. We're trying to create a good experience. So in the future, to Skeletal, to everyone who's listening, this is not the last time I'm gonna go on this rant. It is not the first time I've gone on this rant. It is like the second dungeon we're in. Do not, under any circumstance, make there be a roll that you need to succeed or you cannot move forward. You can do things very much like that in pen and paper. You can have, if you want to progress the story, you need to make a roll as long as you're with it on failing forward. Or if you're in the type of, or if you've negotiated with your players that that's something they want, is to, like, lose access to endings or something. Then that's fine. But not in this. Not in this context. Don't do that. So those are 2 major mistakes. The encounter design was pretty good. There were some enjoyable encounters in there. A little bit more attention could be paid to making more tactical encounters, but they were ultimately fun encounters. They were thematically reasonable encounters, and in places they were genuinely tactically thoughtful encounters. Like the 2 different ways to approach the first fight was interesting. That's about it. There was the skeleton fight with the choke point. There were 2 skeleton fights with choke points. There were some tactically interesting fights. There were some well-designed fights. Not excellent fight design, but good fight design. Then, so keep it up with the way you're designing fights. You don't need to change that. Thematically, you have me hooked. This... No less than an A- for that. I think if you can genuinely hook me and have me going like I want to see more of what's happening here, then you've done it good. You've done well thematically. I want to know why troglodytes and goblins are working together. I want to know what was up with the skeletons working together. I am super interested in the fact that they were dwarven skeletons. I'm super, like, that's a great detail. The fact that there was some kind of dwarven magic to, like, shape the rock into the stone, into the bricks, is really, it's a good idea. It's really creative. It's one that, to me, teases that there's something more to it that you're thinking about. It's something that I want to know more about. It's not as thematically dense as the most thematically dense dungeon I've played, which is an unfair bar. It's very thematically dense. It is well written. It reads well. Yes. You do a good job of guiding the characters through. A player who's paying attention to what their characters are saying is going to do better than a player who doesn't, and that is good. Ultimately, if you shored up those two very major problems I mentioned, which are major problems but very easy to fix problems, you're just thoughtful about those two things the next time you make a dungeon, I'm very interested. I'm going to be watching this user, and I am willing to recommend this dungeon with caveat. I'm going to give it a middling rating because of how dire those are, but someone who's like on the document and reads the full review, I'm going to write it in such a way that they're going to want to play it. Just, they're going to come with level 2 characters, and they're going to make sure they have thieves' tools and be ready to save scum and not feel blamed if it goes poorly. That's my final thoughts. It is 6:30. I need to log off. Good job. I had I had fun towards the end once I got leveled. I'm interested. I hope that the challenge is more organic in the future, is what I'm going to say. And that's the last thing I'm going to say. We'll see you all tomorrow for, if I'm not mistaken, Camric's Crypt of the Dead will be the first one we do, which hopefully will leave time for the next one, which I think is Small Dungeon by I don't know who. But I'll put the... yeah. The name's in the document. Okay.